Hey everyone, so today I'll be going over looking over at these Panasonic home phone kits. I know in this day and age we actually probably aren't used to having any more phone kits. A lot of people just pretty much just have cell phones, but in this case, this will be a nice little review. So this specific one that I have is the Panasonic home phone kit. Just a very basic name. It's gonna have basically four small little ones like this that you could scatter throughout the house, and then one base model. So the first one here, just to kind of go over these guys here, the small one here, very basic wireless phones. It's gonna have the speaker on the back if you want to use that. Your battery, if you ever want to replace it, if you have an issue with it, you can just go ahead and replace them. Basic AA batteries that you have there, as you can tell there. Then we'll just put this guy right back here. There we go. So this has some pretty basic features, as you can tell here. Very basic ones. It's gonna have a speakerphone. It's gonna have, just your caller IDs, and then everything else on there. The interface on these things is actually very interesting. It's not as intuitive at first. You have to kind of play with it and see how everything works out for you. So you basically just want to press on menu here, and then it has your basic phone book, customer support, initial settings, date and time, intercom, voicemail access, answering device, caller list, and so forth. One kind of just right off the bat, one annoying thing about this, a little bit at first, is that if you have a phone call, if somebody picks up and they're in a different room and they want to go ahead and transfer that call, a lot of times they actually have to, let me see if I can simulate that here. So you go to menu and you have to actually just go all the way in to intercom, and then this is where you figure out where the rest of them are. See, so it's not exactly intuitive. As you can tell, it's not too terribly intuitive here. This, I think, intercom call here, I think that also works too. But see, so that's the other issue. So see, this is nice. You have the intercoms right here. This is the base, the one that I just showed you, and then you have your different handsets. Problem is, if you do want to transfer, if you notice here, once I press talk, that option goes away. And now if you want to access that option again, you have to go through menu and then just have to find it through here. It's not as intuitive. I've had other phones that have been a little better and easier to use, but that's kind of like my only complaint with this one. There's some other options on here that I have no idea what they are. The eco, I have no idea what that means. I looked at it in the manual. It doesn't tell me what it is. But up here, it's gonna have you're pretty much like your battery life, and then it's also going to have which handset number this is. So actually, when I was saying earlier, I think that this only has 3 total phones. Just everything else is going to be just very basic on that. A lot of times you can even listen to your voicemail from any of these phones. You don't have to actually come down to the base to listen to the voicemail. And it'll actually even tell you if you had missed calls and things like that. Another thing that you do have to realize about this is that when you do transfer calls, and it gets a little tricky, you actually have to, when you press, so when you're talking and then you go to your intercom, whatever it is, once you already select whichever one you want, you actually have to hang up on this. A lot of times the phones that I've had, you can pretty much just sit on the phone and wait until the other person picks up and you can kind of hear what they're saying. But in this case it doesn't, so just be aware of that. Otherwise everything else here is pretty basic. You can have your caller IDs, so it'll tell you everything else there. A lot of people who called, I believe that the caller ID option comes free. Sometimes it depends, I guess, like on your phone company. Also depends on the phones too. But in this case, we're able to still get it. So that's like one of the handsets. But the actual base here, what it's gonna look like, has pretty much all the same features. that this has, right? So that's one of the handsets that's linked to the base. Otherwise, everything else here, you can actually physically listen to your voicemails as well too. You can play with that through there. Have your intercoms, and then you can locate what the other phones are. But other than that, I mean, you still have a lot of different options here nowadays, with people having cell phones and people pretty much people pretty much using their cell phones a lot of times, or using text messages. They don't really use these anymore. So if you're the type of person who will use a house phone, these are pretty good. These are gonna be just your basic standard ones. I think that the newer ones have a Bluetooth option, which again, I don't really know why you would need that. But if you just need just a very basic house phone, just to kind of maybe handle, different calls to the house as opposed to your cell phone, you can go ahead and do that. This is just, if you just search just Panasonic home phone sets, you pretty much just get the ones that you need at that point. Yeah, so once again, if you guys need that, if you guys are interested in this comes with two other, I know earlier I said four, but this comes with two other handsets. You can get up to 4 or 5, or however many you need. Okay, thanks.